Hello everyone, Sean here, and welcome to another debriefing video with umamusume once again. We are going to be taking a look at Virgo Cup 2, my whole experience with it, the breakdowns and everything as usual. So it was quite the event this time around. We'll get to all that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, really helps out, and I do really appreciate it. So let's get to it. All right, the agenda should not be too different. So, as always, we're going to do a brief overview of the meeting of itself, my approach for this CM, my umamusume that I've chosen, what happened with the results of pretty much each day, strengths and weaknesses of my team, perhaps improvements, going over the results again, kind of like reiterating what was said already, and then of course the conclusion. All right, so this is Virgo Cup number 2. This time around, it is much different from the other Virgo Cup. I don't remember what that one comprised of, but this one comprised of a dirt race, Oi to be specific. So you had to pick up the Oi race course, green skill, 2,000 meters, medium right-handed, fall season, sunny, and good conditions. So that means you have to pick up wet condition for the green skill. And you can see here that this course comprised of no hills, which makes it a little more unique because that's I think that's the very first time that we've had a very flat racing course in the umamusume champions meetings. Could be wrong, but I think this is probably the first one, but it makes it much more unique than anything. So I guess it does provide well, it actually makes it a little harder in a sense. But anyway, it kind of trades off, right? Because you don't need to get that much wit, but you also need more stamina because of the way the hills or downhills work. Yeah, actually saves you a bit of stamina, or even more so. Anyway, threshold, the bonus stat does come from stamina. So I honestly have not seen too many stamina that was like 900 or even 1,000. That was very rare, and even if it did, it really didn't do all that much, just because of how those umas were built in the first place. Otherwise, you can see how the course was laid out with all the straights and corners and everything, where it starts, where it ends, that's sort of stuff. And this champions meeting is similar to that of the Japan Dirt Derby or the Teosho. So either ones you can think of when you're racing. All right, my approach for this CM, of course, this really was the start and debut of Grand Concert. Yes, indeed. So with that, I took the time to learn the new scenario by playing more than 2 times or 3 times a day. I actually, in fact, even burned out all the parent borrows as I was learning this scenario here. I actually took me a few days to kind of get it down, much faster than Track Blazers, that's for sure. Of course, though, we were mostly focusing on building the aces first. At one point, though, I did almost even had a thought of building debuffers akimbo, or basically 2 debuffers, 1 ace kind of thing, doing the whole the Keen Eye Dominator 5-6-4 builds, that whole 9 yards with Oguri. So it's like even really digging into the meta team. And yeah, so pretty much though, we built most of the aces, and then we built 1 debuffer though after, since we had time, This time around, I did build a nice nature cheerleader edition. But of course, speaking of Oguri, Christmas Oguri does return as sort of the meta, the pick, right? The ace pick. But you can also say that she is a Noshi because I do like Oguri. Say what you will, but that's me, that's just me. And yes, it is convenient, so it kind of works, right? I mean, everybody has that Uma that is meta for certain courses, so take that as you will. Anyways, she is pretty much like the spine of the team, right? The main pillar, and we built the team around her rather than um, more so or whatever. Otherwise, if we're really going to pick like the pure Oshi, it's definitely digital, right? She actually, in fact, kind of helped me like snap out of the whole debuffer akimbo build, right, for the team, because I really did want to run digital once again, as a late surger. So we focused on making the pace chaser Oguri, and of course the two late surgers. The other late surger was kind of an interesting process, but I kind of just broke it down to whoever I had the other Dirt Uma was, right? That makes sense. Which was, well, it'll come up. So anyway, other than that, lots of skills, of course. Pick up as much skills. Definitely when it comes to mids, straights, right? Because a lot of the course was straights, and you only had some corners. Of course, get pump, moving past beyond for the lates. That was mainly the big focus when it comes to the unique skills. Otherwise, it was kind of open for Christmas Oguri, in my opinion, other than maybe angling, scheming, or whatever, right? Like, it's just whatever you want to pick up, essentially. That's just how Christmas Oguri is, through and through. Now, for the umamusume that I've chosen for this course, so of course Oguri, right? No question. Digital was sort of like the Oshi pick, right? If she wasn't the Oshi pick, it's digital. Um, and then we have the Condor Fantasy Edition as our third wheel, basically. She's really the only other Dirt Uma that I do have, other than Harurara, of course, but that's really a pain to really try and build because she needs two inspirations just to be able to get medium A. So it's tough. It's tough. I actually tried at one point just to see what would happen, and yeah, it's super tough. And even so, the stats that she was getting was not great, not great from my limited runs. So anyway, Condor definitely filled in the third wheel nicely as that last Dirt Uma for the late surger side of things. I know her unique doesn't do all that much. Um, it kind of just acts like a late acceleration, if anything, because it activated later during the late race. So it's like she definitely is that good backup. Otherwise, I had Cheerleader Nice Nature as the debuffer. She had, all the necessary skills as a debuffer. And then you can see the inherits in the back, Ryan and Dober as the main ones for the consistent ones anyway. Otherwise, Oguri was kind of all over the place, but I'd chosen Brian for her Shadow Break and one other one I keep forgetting. So anyway. Oh yeah, it was lights. We picked up Fuji, but oh no, that was the other one. Sorry, fault. So I lied. I honestly, okay, I kind of fudged up that slide there because yeah, Tachyon was definitely that main focus when it comes to Oguri because of course the way her stuff works, it activates perfectly on that mark of the mid race, right? It's right before the late race. If you're in 3rd or 4th position, I believe. So in case anything fails, that's that's what's gonna trigger there. Um anyway, um That's this is the team that I mainly stuck with for at least early half of the races. So you can see this time around though, this Ogre was able to get both dirt S and medium S. So that was actually really nice. I was like, yes. Um, whatever came out of this, I wanted to use it, right, for the race, and actually came out pretty decently to say the least. You know, the skills that she got though, could have been a little better. She did not get curvature. That's the only missing thing. She did get unstoppable though, and then see you later and all the come what may, as you can see on the bottom here, all that fun stuff. And when it comes to these two, it's pretty similar with each other. I just grabbed what I could. Of course, grab one gold skill, have enough stam. Although funny enough, Condor was the only one who got 900 stam, and she almost got 900 stam. Funny enough, I actually forgot about that. Digital here. So you know, this is the best that we could, and that's what we had at the time. In addition, this is my nice nature. I took the 564 skill or unique keen eye dominator, all the hesitance, right, including even of course intense gaze, right. But unfortunately, I kind of screwed it up by taking no stopping me, because that can cuck the 564 proc from procking either of these two skills. So that's sort of unfortunate. I have to go back to the drawing board for some time. But it did work well enough for the rest of the races. This build right here, you'll see in a bit here. And you'll notice one big mistake that I was unfortunately not able to catch during the time of building this Uma. All the way up to the actual race of itself, which, speaking of which, round one, day one, what the heck happened here? So you can definitely see here that very unfortunate that the Ogre that looked very promising, the stats were pretty nice and everything, but it had Dirt B. We tried it at least. She did get close at some point, but she never won. She definitely was not consistent like the other one, who had Dirt S medium. Excuse me. Yeah. That was a very unfortunate mistake. My heart sank as soon as I realized she was Dirt B. I just literally thought she was gonna be Dirt A or whatever. That's just how I thought of Ogre. So I picked up the wrong parents, and all the other builds were wrong anyway, so there was no salvaging it. Or was there? But yeah, these are the rest of them, right? And funny enough, they did carry me for the earlier parts. We managed to get the 3 wins on day 1. This was on the first ticket, I believe. The free run was really bad. We actually got the most losses, which was 5. Honestly, that was easily our worst performance. But then the lasers kicked in and carried me pretty much for the entire day 1. So basically, this is going to be likely repeating what I said. So yeah, the Dirt B Ogre happened. 5 losses in the free run. On the first ticket, yes, that was definitely it. Yeah, and it was actually really funny though, because she was Dirt B Ogre almost got some wins, but I think it also played into the fact that a lot of the real players, or most of that lobby was real players, or most of that free run, I should say, were free players, which kind of foreshadows of what I'm about to say next as well. But anyway, we then replaced the Derby Ogre after this ticket with the debuff for Nice Nature. right? The cheerleader edition. So then overall, we actually got 3 wins on that one lobby, and then well the what do you call it, the free run, or excuse me, the first ticket, and then the when we brought in the debuff of nature, we got 4 wins, right? So that's actually kind of nice. I did go fix that Ogre that same night, and then the one you saw first, that's the one we went with, the Dirt S, Medium S. That's literally what we got. Funny note that I actually had 3 borrows left that same night because I was using it for, I used the 2 for building some, trying to build nice parents, which I honestly don't even remember what happened there. But we used all 3 attempts, and that very third last attempt, that's what we got with the Dirt S, Medium S Ogre. So that was actually a really nice way to wrap up that night. But before we proceed, though, this day 1, really set the tone for the rest of this Dirt CM. We actually ran into a bunch of jobbers along the way, which is how also we were able to get those 3 wins with the late surgers. And the rest of those matches were comprising of people using auto-trained Umas, because the auto-training feature is a thing. And the stats are actually like kind of tempting to use, right? When it comes to certain CMs. I did also run into a Kapano Riki that just had this abysmal stats. Well, mostly on the stam. I don't know what this person was thinking, but I ran into this Riki in one of those races. So it really set the tone of what was to come for this entire, or the rest of the CM. The jobbers also, as well as the auto-trained Uma, excuse me. But yeah, we were definitely lucky to get that group A spot, considering that we had a Dirt B Uma, right? You know, she would have performed like any of the auto-trained Uma if you think about it, I guess. But nonetheless, we got the group A spot. So day 2 was a little rough, but we actually kind of we're kind of like redeeming ourselves a bit, but it was still a little rough with day 1, or excuse me, round 1, day 2, with 2-3-2 wins. That was our scoring for that day. I did feel better about the Ogre though. You know, this is the best that we could, given the time that we have. We're already racing, so I'm like already moving on to the next thing. I'm still building parents too, which I kind of forgot to mention in my approach. I actually built these Uma relatively early. I got what I wanted from the late surgers, and then of course the Ogre, right? And that was funny enough, the Dirt B one, which again I didn't check until it was too late. I spent that whole, because we still had a whole week left before the CM even happened. I spent that whole week trying to build parents, so it all kind of worked out because I have some decent, more than my parents are definitely better than before now, decent enough for me to kind of like now carry some of my weight. So the borrowed parents are carrying less weight from here on out, I guess. So that's kind of what happened throughout my whole thing prior to the CM. But anyways, what the Ogre that we built for with the Dirt S, Medium S, felt better, of course. But speaking of which, round 1 actually had way less Christmas Ogres to fight against, more so than expected. So this CM was turning out to be very weird. It's just like, it was so weird more ways than one. But carrying on, round 2, day 1, what the hell happened here? She's doing the thing. She's doing the wave. She got it. Yeah, number 4, right? Woo! Holy shit! So here's a snapshot of one of the races, and look at that. We actually got into Group A finals, kind of convincingly. We got 2 wins, so we were like, okay, we have a chance, right? Feeling pretty good. We did get the 3 wins, and we even got 3 wins again. So that was actually pretty cool. And then of course Oguri was winning most of those races, if not all of them, on that day. I couldn't recall like how many wins, you know, Digital nor Pasa. The very last race was very interesting. One of the teams actually comprised of all auto-trained Umas. We're pretty much like calling them clankers, right? Because they're kind of like robots in a way, AI trained. If you know, I know that's like a meme, but you know, it is what it is. That's what people are calling them. So one team comprised of an entire auto-run Uma team, and then you have the one Oshi team, which I believe had like Anime McQueen. It had another Uma that was like not meant for this race, and a debuffer, I think it was. I forget who that other Oshi Uma was. I know Anime McQueen was one of them though. The builds weren't the greatest, so we were able to snag that one. Like the game kind of just gave it to us. So if we didn't win any of those other races, this was it. So that was how we were able to get Group A finals, right? Either or, which is actually kind of funny. This race though was during the first ticket. That was our first victory. We actually really clutched it on that one. I was super shocked because I was actually losing this stretch, but then Oguri just activated Patience Straightaway's double circle, and I guess that was enough to steal it by a nose against the other Christmas Oguri. But yeah, so that was day 1. So round 2, day 2. We were just cruising. We had no worries. We just kind of just racing. So the pattern pretty much was like almost the same, except we had the 3 wins first, and then the 2, and then 3. So it's kind of just reversed. And then we actually went for the carrot run on this one. And I actually forgot to mention, I almost fudged the other slide. But anyway, round 1, day 1, we also did a carrot run, but I did that off the stream. That one was pretty decent considering we saw, you know, Oguri working, because I used that carrot run to test Oguri that I built with the Dirt S medium S. Came out pretty good, so I was like feeling pretty good about it. But anyways, this one though was for the wishing well method. I sacrificed that carrot so that we can help our luck for going into Group A finals. But yeah, overall we actually got 4 wins. We were actually crushing it by the end. So feeling pretty confident. Our Oguri looked very much more consistent than before. Like it's hard to say, but it might have been the best performing Oguri of all time in terms of consistency. And then that entire day, I actually benched the Condor because she was winning the least. And I was trying to see what would happen as an experiment with Cheerleader Debuffer, right? Cheerleader Nature Debuffer. Which might have contributed to that those strong victories, right? It just amplified Oguri's victories more than anything. It just ensured that she won. So okay, so here comes the big day, right? What the hell happened for Group A finals? Let's hit it, guys. Let's hit it. Bring out the flex emotes right now. Right now. It all comes down to this. Oh.
ここまで無敗グランプリウマ娘メジロマックイーン注目のここまで無敗グランプリウマ娘6番オグリキャップ6枠6番での出走
Flex. Alright, we go.
ウマ娘ゲートに入って体勢整いましたさあゲートが開いた各ウマ娘揃って綺麗なスタートを切りました
Okay, no late starts. That's good.
先行争いは4番オグリキャップ6番オグリキャップメジロマックイーン4番オグリキャップ先頭に立つのか続いて6番オグリキャップ4番
Digital, can you not get blocked, please?
1番人気4番オグリキャップ早くも先頭2番
She's
手
second.
先頭を伺うのは6番オグリキャップさあ1コーナーから2コーナーへ向かっていくウマ娘たち先頭がやや早いの
Okay, corner recovery. Okay.
依然として4番オグリキャップ続きました6番オグリキャップさらにメジロマックイーン4馬身離れてゴールドシチー2コーナー回って向こう上面順位を
Gorman? Okay, 777, please, please.
4番オグリキャップ1馬身離れて6番オグリキャップさらにメジロマックイーン3馬身差ゴールドシチー
Okay, it's all up to Ogre, it looks like.
1馬身離れて9番ナイスネイチャーその後アグレスデジタル1馬身差グラスワンダー大きく離れて
Okay. So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay. We both triggered it.
先頭進みますがこれは正解でしょうか
ちょっとかかり気味かもしれないです。一息つけるといいですが。
先頭は依然4番オグリキャップ2馬身リードまもなく第4コーナーカーブ
馬娘たちがどう動くか目が離せません。
Ooh, I'm on her ass. I'm on her ass. イエスイエス Yes! GG's! Yes! We got it! Yes! You did it, Ogre! Oh, finally!
待たせたな。これが私からのプレゼントだ。
Oh. Shh. Hey, look at that! It's fixed! It is fixed! Oh, man. It's a double ogre, which is funny. Kinda sums up the race. Hey Tristan, what's up? Oh man. Here it comes, here it comes. Sing it, girl. You did it. You finally did it. Oh. You're about to find out. Boom. Going in, we actually won it. We won. Ex Oguri was able to do her thing. She did it. She didn't fail. Like, she did a couple of times. It was like pretty much once per what do you call it, ticket, or whatever you want to call it. So basically 1 out of 5 runs she whiffs. So I guess she had a 20% chance of failing her procs, even with 1200 wit. So I guess that's saying something, I guess. So yeah, like I said, she did not miss her procs, thank God. She worked for this one. And I'm very happy that she finally won it, because like every time I ran Oguri, it just felt so cursed, you know, with all the other races with Christmas Oguri being strong or meta. I just felt like, you know, I was just cursed for running Christmas Oguri. You know, like I always felt like, okay, maybe it would have been better to just run an Oshi more so than Oguri, because you have to overcome the other Oguris that are inevitably built better than yours, right? Or mine, whatever. It's just like the feeling I've always had over my head, like a cloud, right? Whenever like Oguri is a thing. And this one, this was such a Oguri course. It's not even funny, but we won it, right? We managed to get by. So she did her thing, right? Christmas Oguri obviously did her thing. She won, right? Digital, unfortunately, did not do her thing. She was blocked by the debuffers and other lay surgers. She just was blocked. She sat at best 7th place most of the way. She just could not get into 6th place at that right time. Just could not push through because the other Umas was just blocking her. It was so unfortunate for her, because otherwise she got 4th. So that meant that if everything went perfect for her, she would have at least had a fighting chance, I think. But Nature did her thing though. She did not proc Keen Eye, but she did proc Dominator and like the other important hesitant skills, including Pace Chaser hesitant and hesitant Lay Surger. So those are obviously the real important ones. You know. Now we did win, and we got Miss Victoria. She sang it. It felt really good. You know, this was the very last team that we decided to pick, just because I felt like Nice Nature does something more so than Condor. She just couldn't quite win enough for me to be convinced that I should, you know, have her as like that backup ace, right? And she could have, right, if I gave her the chance. You know, you just never know. But despite having the 900 stamps, therefore she has a bonus speed, she just never really was able to convince me otherwise. You know, because if anything, it was digital, right? Digital was actually, I think, winning more so over Condor. But you never know. I mean, if I remove digital and put Condor instead, could she have performed very similarly? It is definitely possible. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. We had to pick somebody. So, you know, at the time, Condor had the lowest wins. So I had to naturally select her. Nature did her thing. She you know, does the debuffing, all that stuff. Yeah. What else happened during Group A finals? There's also some additional things I wanted to say. As much as we did win in the grand scheme of things, we were definitely lucky. I don't think there's really much of a debate. But yeah, more, at least more ways than one. Both of the teams had some sort of jobber-esque builds. One team did comprise of an Ogre with some subpar stats. You know, I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is. But she did have I want to win, you know, as one of the gold, you know, one of the gold skills from Grand Live or Grand Concert. But that same team had an auto Uma, so that kind of tells me about the trainer, right? Was able to get by and got Group A finals, so there is credit, right? Gotta give credit to that team. The other team, very interesting because we had a McQueen with a high win rate. But upon further examination after the race, it actually didn't really have a lot of like very good skills in the grand scheme of things. I mean, she did have a lot of double circles of, you know, the straightaways and the corner skills, but her uniques were just a little questionable, at least. Because she took Redshift and Triumphant Pulse, which Triumphant Pulse obviously works, but Redshift, right. I've got her other actual Excel. I think she did get head on, but the Redshift was kind of like questionable. Really does say something about the pace chasers in this entire CM weren't just that strong because of the lack of accelerations they have for options, apart from neck and neck slash head on and slash maybe a couple other things, maybe just no stopping me simply, or head on slash neck and neck, or really otherwise outside of that, the unique skill options, it's really not all that there. And unfortunately, Redshift, this doesn't work. I think it activates just too late in this case. So this McQueen build could have been like a good backup, right? In case like everybody fails, but that's like a pretty low chance, I think, depending on how they build, right? It's all in luck. And much to their credit, I mean, she had a high win rate, which is a little weird, right? Because all things considered. But when you have a pretty decently built team and you would face her, you probably have a good chance to win. So maybe this person was just very lucky. She did have dual debuffers. So one of them was a Dominator debuffer, and then the other was the Stamp debuffer, which was one of the highlighting metas, right, of having dual debuffers, and especially if you have one or the other, right? So if you had a double Dominator debuffer team, great. But the double stamina debuffer team was also a thing because of how the dirt race was treating Umas, right? It consumes more stam, right? So with all that said, I think this lobby was like actually, funny enough, a perfect encapsulation of this entire CM, because we had the one Ogre, right? It had an Ogre besides myself, and we had a auto Uma, and then there was another team with a double debuffers, right? One ace, quote unquote. Funny enough, it wasn't Campano Ricky, which I actually forgot to mention that I have seen a good number of Campano Rickies, but never any of them won, except for one. There was only one exception from my observation. The Campano Rickies were never ever won, except for one. And this was supposed to be, you know, a premier race for Campano Ricky, kinda, just because this was the one dirt CM for a while, and Campano Ricky's banner was right around that corner at that time. So people were grabbing her, trying to make her work, but I heard it was hell. Like, trying to grab all the greens was just a freaking nightmare. On top of the fact that people were still learning Grand Live at the time. So I'm pretty sure a lot of those combinations came into play to make building her a hellish experience. So that honestly, again, it kind of encapsulates this CM, right? A lot of people were phoning it in, all that stuff, but yeah. Let me just go ahead and move on to the next slide, though. Let's talk about the strengths of the team, which is, again, not all that much. It's very obvious, right? It really just obviously highlights the strengths of the team. Oguri, right? The main pillar of the team. She is definitely, by definition, an ace for this team. No question. You know, she is the meta pick, right? So yeah, she was obviously very strong for this race, and she definitely won the most. And I'll go ahead and drop the screenshots right here because I forgot to do that, and I plan to not go back. But anyway, I'll drop it right here. You can see the win rates. I think Oguri was very close to being 50% overall after all the races being done. And then, if I can remember correctly, digital was just right around 10%, if not below it. And Kondo was well below 10%. So really tells me about, you know, Oguri right here. Very, very strong. She was definitely carrying the rest of the races, while the two girls carried the early parts, right, when a lot of the jobbers were around. And my Oguri was out of commission because I built her wrong, which is of course my fault. Cheerleader nature did come into play, you know, kind of filled in that gap nicely. And by the time I just figured, you know what, I could just focus on Oguri winning. Just have nature do it. I honestly could have honestly ran 2 debuffers, right? I could have been that guy, but I really wanted digital, so I kept digital, really. So, and Condor was just the third wheel, right? Hate to say it, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. So yep. So those are our strengths. We had Oguri, we had backliner backup, right? They basically really just there for backup, right? And Oguri mostly winning her races, right? A lot, like really, most of those wins are Oguri, right? Obviously. And then cheerleader nature being a debuffer was also a strength for this team as well. But at least overall, they all contributed because Condor even got some wins. She helped us get into the Group A spot, excuse me. And even more so, I think. Actually, no, I don't think she won anything during the round 2 part. It was all Oguri, I think, right? When it comes to weaknesses, a little funny because it's really all about the whiffing, right? When Oguri whiffs, it was not a good feeling. And one other thing, maybe I will speak upon it. I should save it for the improvements. Anyway, yeah, Oguri whiffing, not great. Our other weakness was other Oguris, right? Whenever you see another Oguri, it's like, oh fuck. That's what I always think. I'm like, I'm never like, fucking confident, overly confident. I'm like the opposite. I'm like, oh shit. Whether it be ex Oguris or Kapano Rikis, but it was more so the Oguris because in this race she was very, very powerful, very powerful. But I do think the next CM or the next Dirt CM that's coming down the line is more so Ricky's domain than her. But I think whenever that comes around, we'll still run the X Oguri because it's just X Oguri. Front heavy lobbies were very much a thing because obviously we have a lot of pace chasers and even front runners still, so that really pushed back the backliners. So if that was a thing, they were screwed pretty much. Although there are a lot of times where digital really pushed up too far, so it was weird. Like the one race that she needed to push up, she couldn't. you know, which was Group A finals. But a lot of races she just pushed up way too high up, and more so to the point where she missed her key excels. Another weakness of the team was the lack of medium S's for the late surgers. So that's pretty much it on that. Improvements. Check the dirt aptitude. Check your stuff. I need to slow down sometimes and just read. Right. Maybe a late surger X Oguri might have done things a little better. Maybe perhaps not. I don't know. It just, yeah, like it would be a little harder to build because she already has a built-in gold recovery, which is Gorman, and Gorman obviously is a pace chaser recovery. So you pretty much want to stick with pace chaser builds because otherwise you're forced to run Super Creek, which, yeah, not a speed card, obviously. So you lose out on that potential higher speed. But honestly, with all that said, even I actually ran. I also forgot to mention this during the approach slide. So man, a lot of mixed bags here. But anyway, for those who are curious about my deck at the time, I really tried to make the 3-speed, 3-wit, or excuse me, 3-speed, 2-wit, 1-light, deck work. One of those speed cards was the Tosin Jordan SSR card, the free one, because that one comes with the what do you call it, breath of fresh air recovery, which works, yes, because it got buffed. But that card of itself is not that great, and you really have to be lucky that you get enough stam, including from the stam sparks. Whereas, I did run at one point with these two anyway, the late surgers, a deck with Super Creek, and it actually for the overall made it a lot easier to build because it helped me reach to the required stam a lot faster. And in fact, I was able to do that more consistently and was able to go just more aggressive on the speed and the wit because I was already done with the stamp. So it might have been a little better just to do that with Oguri. I don't know, potentially. So if we're gonna do that, then maybe perhaps a late surger Oguri might have been not so bad, right? In a grand scheme of things. But it is what it is. We won, so it's fine. Can't complain too much. So yeah, could have been a possible improvement, maybe not. It's just more so an option than anything. It's not really more like a black and white improvement or whatever. Now, when it comes to nature, because we picked up no stopping me, like a fool, I need to rebuild her for future stuff. I definitely want to get, well, she has to get rebuilt anyway because of the lack of the dirt sparks and whatever, and the lack of dirt sparks definitely will improve it as a dirt debuffer for next time. So I have to rebuild her one way or the other, pretty much. I'll try to get around doing that whenever I'm done with building aces for the next CM, probably. So anyway, that's really the big improvements I can think of on the top of my head, But I think we'll do a lot better for the next CM. Let's go into the conclusions. So, in conclusion, we can definitely say that this entire CM was by far the weirdest one yet. We ran into the auto teams, a number of oddly built Umas, including that one Capano Ricky with really low stam. That's just one of them. Like, there was a whole plethora of weirdly built Umas. This could have been possibly a cause or due to a influx of new players, possibly, or it could have been a number of things, because this CM, the course was so bad for in terms of like bringing a variety of Uma, that people just didn't want to try and just phone it in, right? I don't blame it for it. Thus the auto teams, thus the just weirdly built Uma. You also have, of course, the free to play players and all that stuff. I actually also forgot to mention that I was able to watch somebody else's runs, and that person was in Group B because they didn't have enough time due to personal stuff outside of the game. And it really gave me a perspective of how these trainers built their Umas, right? And it's just, wow, it was out of this world. And I unfortunately mean that in the bad way. But I mean, it is what it is. This CM sucked. Let's be real. The nature of it was just really bad. It really, really narrowed down to certain Uma, and on top of the fact that it is dirt, and on top of the fact that it was perfectly built for Oguri, it just really added things, right? Oguri is also dirt Uma, so you can really like just drive it home that this CM was just so limited, so lackluster. It made it very meta heavy. It really narrowed down to like, okay, the Oguri double debuffer teams, the dirt, whatever dirt Umas, and very few Oshis. Which, whenever you do see Oshi, you gotta give them respect. So it just really wasn't helped by the lack of dirt Umas. Chris's Oguri exists, the debuffer teams, and also the fact that it requires so much stamina for what it is. For a 2,000 meter course requiring long CM freaking stamina, that's ridiculous, but that's just how it went. Even requiring a gold recovery, it's ridiculous, but that's how it went. Also based on the fact that auto runs is a new feature, yeah, that also really added into it, right? It gave him the opportunity to just phone it in, just grab the participation gems or carrots and get out and get through the CM. And it's so funny because a number of the auto teams did make it through into Group A finals, I believe. I guess there's just a lot of them. And those auto teams, of course, were help feeding the actual people who cared about this race, including me, in getting into Group A finals. So there's a lot to take away from. I do consider myself lucky. But also, it's like, well, I had to carry my weight whenever there's other Christmas Oguri. So, And like I said, because of auto runs, will we see auto teams again in the future? Absolutely. Definitely not as much, but we'll definitely see some of them in the future. Like from here on out. Like throughout each CM, you'll probably see a number of auto teams. Maybe it'll dwindle down over time because of just how people are, or people maybe fall off, and then you have the whales just carrying on again, and then so on and so forth. But things can change. Things can always change based off of what the devs feel like adding in for features next. So we'll see. But that also definitely changed in one way because which each dirt CM we're gonna see more of the new Umas, right? New Umas who can run dirt or who are capable of sparking the way into dirt aptitude, and of course the dirt skills, right? But more so the dirt Umas are gonna pop in more. I'm pretty sure someone like Forever Young is gonna be like dirt B at least. Right, she has to be or he has to be because Forever Young did do a lot of the dirt races. So I think Forever Young is gonna be like one of those Uma where it's like she's gonna be very meta at some point. Very, very. you know, more because come on, like that Uma is side games. Let's be real. I'm gonna leave it at that. So, anyways, point being, we're gonna have like which each third CM is gonna get a little better just because yes, we're gonna get more stuff. So I think that the number of like the double debuffers and stuff like that should go down a little bit. The auto Umas should go down a little bit. But I guess we'll see. Time can only tell. All right, so let's talk about what we're going. All right, let's talk about the future plans for the upcoming CM, what I'm going to do, and all that fun stuff. This one's going to be a lot more fun because we're going to be in a much better CM in terms of variety. And yeah, that happened because breaking news, I actually did a daily scout, one daily scout on the Seeking the Pearl banner. And lo and behold, I got her. So there's a bit of a change of plan. I was gonna actually run Taiki once again, even though I was kind of feeling like but I guess, you know, why not? It might have been such a week, but less likely, but we'll see. So, anyways, before we get to all that, this CM is going to be a lot easier and better to build because we're going to see a lot more Umas. It's going to be less stam requirements. There's going to be a lot of things going for a lot of us, right? There's going to be a chance for everybody to win, right? Each style or whatever you call it has a chance to win. They have like XL options, all that stuff. The only thing about it is that, yes, we'll see XVII again, but with a catch, which is that you have to run her as an end closer because of how the CM is built, which has a downhill right before the late race. Therefore, you want to take After School Stroll because it activates on a downhill. That's the recovery that will perfectly activate Oguri's ult and put her into speed carryover into late race. And because of how end closers work, that feels very, very powerful. If more so, she is able to reach to the ideal position, right? So that's the only thing about it. Yes, you have to get into a very good position to explode very, very hard. But when you do, it's very satisfying to watch. And as somebody who likes to do backliner stuff, yes, I would like to try to run XVII again. Despite, yes, she just winning. She just won the last CM. Funny enough, but yeah, I would really like to see this work, so that's why I actually have a pretty decent build. I think the only thing is that the wit is a little on the low side, but we're probably gonna run with it, honestly. But yes, so I was going to have pace chasers because pace chasers are ultimately going to be pretty strong because they have lots of or powerful excel options, including Nishino Flower and stuff like that. But I think more so they just have the downhill on their side because they have straight descent. So that's going to help them activate very consistently on that spot, and it'll carry them over to the late race nicely. So that's why they have that on their side. Whereas I don't think any other Uma have like downhill excels exclusively built for them. I mean, it really, I guess, winds down to what velocity skills also activate right before that downhill or during that downhill, rather. And so, yeah, so that's why pace stations are just automatically strong because of straight descent. I was gonna run Taiki, but then Seeking a Pearl kind of like put a stop to those plans. So breaking news, yes, I got her. So I was just like, you know, I don't know why I just did this. The one daily scout, and bam, I got her. It was just I got the door. No director, but I got the door, and yeah, I got her, pretty much. But one thing for sure is that we're gonna run the Festival Rudolph over Taiki, because I think she looks cool. Taiki also won her CM, and I don't know. I just rather run somebody else, especially because Rudolph also has some cool stuff, including Fall Frenzy, Straight Descent, and so on and so forth. So I think she'll actually fit in pretty well, besides Taiki. So I'm gonna use her over Taiki this time around. So my team is pretty much gonna be consisting of two pace chasers. Excuse me, two pace chasers and one encloser, which is Oguri. So you'll see Oguri again on my end. But Seeking the Pearl, I think that's like the I don't know, honestly, who's the Oshi pick, right? Is it Seeking the Pearl or Rudolph? I guess you can take your pick. Because yeah, I'm definitely gonna run Pearl as a pace chaser. And yeah, because I think she has head on built right in, so we'll just do that. We'll definitely do that. We could possibly run 3 pace chasers in case Oguri just really does not work out for some reason. But I think if anything, she'll just serve as a really good backup in case everybody else like whiffs. And whenever she does not whiff, hopefully she'll explode. So that's like the only like big development that happened in between making these slides and stuff like that is, yeah, Seeking a Pearl happened. So, yep, that's pretty much the conclusion of the presentation. A lot of like little mishaps in the presentation because I just forgot to talk about certain elements. But that's just kind of the nature of it. It's just I was very excited that I won. But anyway, yeah. Same questions as always. For the very last slide. What are your comments relating to the presentation? Thoughts on your own team? What are they? Strengths and weaknesses for them, right? What do you feel? What was good? What was bad for them? And how will you approach the next CM? And thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out, and I do appreciate it. So, once again, we are going to another CM coming up. It'll be a lot of fun. Can't wait. And with that, good luck on your runs and up to the CM. And also good luck on your polls, right? If you want Seeking the Pearl, if you want Daichi Ruby Power, I think the Halloween banner should also be coming up soonish, right? Along with the event. And Acid Machan, I think, right? Acid Machan should be a thing soon enough. So let's go and remember her, right? Anyways, thank you, and hope to see you all in the next one. Sean out.